Good day, my little robins. It's me, Beth. Another month has come and gone, which means, well, you get another favourites wrap-up monthly video from, well, me. You know, the month is April has come and gone. It was the best month of the year because April is when my birthday is. Anyway, these videos are pretty self-explanatory. Before we begin, if you'd like to support me and the channel in the future, you can by clicking like to show me some love. You can click subscribe and tap that bell to be notified of when I upload on this channel. Enough rambling, let's dive straight into my April favourites. We have not talked about albums for a while. Like in one of these favourites videos, I usually jump into like the reactions and talking about the channel, but the month of April gave me 3 albums which I checked out personally, and we are kicking off with my favourite K-pop girl group Dreamcatcher, and they released their second full-length album Apocalypse Savers with the fire title track Mason, with like an insane music video that was all about saving the environment that we ourselves have destroyed. It was a rather like unique and like a topic that came from like left field. Not many K-pop groups would talk about the environment, but you know, Dreamcatcher did. And well, oh my god, the album is just so powerful. And the latter half of the album is different because there are 7 solos. There are 7 members and we get a solo that like represents each member perfectly. Some fans ask for this, others might be a bit it takes away from like, you know, the apocalyptic theme. But oh, the best solo, and it's not just because she's my bias, but if you're like me and you're like 2000s, like skater, like pop punk, Avril Lavigne, then Dami's song Beautiful is like that 2000s energy bottled up. This, well, actually I believe Mason is going to serve as like part 1 of like their brand new trilogy or series they're going to do, kind of like, you know, Scream, Boca and Odd Eye did over 1 album and 2 mini albums with the Dystopian trilogy. So I'm really looking forward to like the story Dreamcatcher are going to tell, and these ladies can do no wrong. They also, praise be to Jesus, got their 2 music show wins, their first win and then their second win a week later, and it's been long in the waiting. If you like a little bit of like rock, metal, dark with your pop, check out Dreamcatcher. Up next is Monster X. These are like a K-pop boy group who have been around since 2015, and they released the mini album Shape of Love. Now this was delayed. It was originally due to come out like pretty much the day after Dreamcatcher's Apocalypse Savers album, but due to one member getting COVID, they decided to postpone it and delay it until like the end of the month, you know, so they could promote together, which is, oh, that's actually very sweet. It also makes sense. If you want to promote as a group but one person's ill, you can't promote. Now, there are a lot of like K-pop boy groups on the scene, and there have been for a while, and I feel like Monster X kind of slips under the radar. Like, I talk to a lot of my friends and Monster X doesn't get brought up, but oh, this mini album Shape of Love, oh, like it shows off their like impeccable vocals, the harmonies, and like the emotional lyrics that, you know, like pack a punch. My 2 favourite songs are Love and Wildfire. If you want like a more like mature, sultry, emotional like journey about the discovery of love and what it means to you, then well, Monster X's mini album Shape of Love might be for you. And the final album we're going to talk about is Poets of the Fall Ghostlight. This is their 9th studio album, and if you're new to the channel, you should check out my Poets of the Fall playlist because I am a big bias towards this band and I believe they deserve so much attention. Anyway, after, you know, we got that hit single Requiem for a Harlequin, it got a lot of fans, like including myself, excited for like what the album was going to, you know, kind of like live up to, because Ultraviolet, which was their last album, was a little bit on the fence and divided fans because it went down the more pop side of like their spectrum, where in the past they've managed to balance like rock, a little bit of like metal in with their pop. But I'm going to hold my hands up now and say that, you know, after listening to the album, I like the album, I will listen to the songs, but it probably wasn't as upbeat and like kind of like eccentric as I was like expecting a Poets album to be. And it's because these guys have so many amazing albums, you know, that you can't help to a degree compare to previous albums. It strikes the balance perfectly between like a melodic, emotional, rock and pop. You know, that is beautiful. It gives us like a lot more sounds and feels. But personally, I preferred Ultraviolet to this album, and I know a lot of fans are going to be like, how can you say that? Ultraviolet was not a good album. I liked it. And if I had to say like my other favourite album, it is Jealous Gods. So I'm not really sure where Ghostlight is going to fit, because Requiem for a Harlequin, amazing. Hopefully some of these songs are much better live, and I am seeing them the first week of May. I think it's either the 5th or the 6th I'm seeing them for the second time. So hopefully these songs slay. If I had to pick a favourite song off the album apart from like the lead song Requiem for my Harlequin, I would have to go with Fire Dancer. I nearly said Fire Dance, it's Fire Dancer. This is the opening track, and Marco's deep voice when he's doing like those like spoken parts, I was like, oh Marco, you know what your voice does. And that's the opening track. And there is like, it does build up like, oh, this is going to be a really hype album. But then for me personally, it kind of fizzles out. But it's not a bad album. I've heard worse. In terms of reactions on the channel, K-pop dominated the channel again, because that's all you guys seem to be requesting. The one sole Japanese artist that, you know, made it onto the channel this month was Bradia with the song and the music video Greed. Now, I've seen Bradia live. I know that they can like mesh together like a bunch of genres, but for me, Greed, I wish I had just listened to the song without watching the music video, because the song was so good, but the music video was a bit meh. They can be hit and miss with their music videos. Like song-wise, vocals, instruments, they slay. Music videos, a little bit questionable, but do not sleep on these talented ladies. The first new Korean like group, you know, that made it on the channel was Purple Kiss, and these guys came highly recommended off my Dreamcatcher videos, and ho, I did not realise like just how powerful like this 4th generation of like K-pop groups, especially the girl groups, are gonna be in like the fierce competition, because I reacted to their debut song and the music video was insane. It was intense, and well, they got themselves a brand new fan. If you like Dreamcatcher, check out Purple Kiss, and well, I don't know what else I can say about them other than they came out of left field and they left a mark. Vivis is a 3-piece girl group made up of ex-members from the disbanded group G-Friend, which is why I chose to react to both a Vivis song and a G-Friend song on the channel, because I had seen Vivis on like the reality show Queendom 2 and I was interested, and then lots of people left recommendations for G-Friend songs under that Vivis video, and oh, you never know what K-pop is going to throw at you, because Vivis, G-Friend, like exceptional like talent, like vocal wise, dance wise, so strong. I only did one reaction to G-Friend and I'm kind of sad that they disbanded, but then we got Vivis and that energy is just on like a whole other level. But yeah, Vivis, G-Friend, don't worry guys, I'll get around to the rest of the G-Friend reactions. There are a lot of them. I finally got around to reacting to the music video for Alexa and the song Tattoo. I think it was like either earlier this year or towards the end of last year, I reacted to the song Bomb, which was like an upbeat like dance track. It pretty much gripped you by the throat and was an intense start to finish. And Tattoo is a ballad. Now Alexa is probably becoming one of my favourite like solo artists, just because she has a killer voice that is suited to like the high energy, but then she can also do like the ballads, and you know, we can't not mention the fact that she's on the American equivalent of Eurovision, which still blows my mind. Wonderland is a great song, and you know, Alexa is an amazing artist, and also, you just gotta watch her dance, because that will blow you away. But yeah, Alexa, Tattoo, you can't go wrong with a ballad, especially an English ballad in K-pop. ONEUS and Snooper, they made up the two sole K-pop boy groups on the channel this month. I really do want to check out more boy groups, so please feel free to leave recommendations. They were complete opposites. ONEUS and the music video and the song Valkyrie, the song sounded a lot better than the music video and looked in my eyes, so definitely it's a song I would listen to, but I wouldn't watch the music video again, because I feel like it was doing what a lot of other K-pop group boy concepts. And that's the thing with K-pop. There are 5 concepts for female groups, and there's a few concepts for boy groups, and they rotate out. So they were going for the darker imagery, fantasy, and I was like, I've seen it, but other groups have done it better. Doesn't mean I'm not going to give them a second chance in the future, because you guys left a bunch of requests. But now Snooper, I know they are currently on hiatus due to military service, but their song Platonic Love was a pure 80s synth pop bop. Oh my god, it was bright, it was colourful, it had me dancing, and I was like, yes, this is a concept in boy groups that was probably more popular a few years ago, before it went dark and intense and moody. But I like the bright colours, the cheese. Now onto TV land, because I love TV. On Disney Plus, apart from continuing to watch Moon Knight, I have been watching The Kardashians. Now, no judgment, because I watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians, not when it first came out. I got into it in 2012 when I was in university, and I have watched every single episode. It is trashy reality TV that I just can't get enough of, and this new series is equally as dumb, but it's interesting, and I've committed to so many years to this family. Moon Knight, on the other hand, is the superhero TV miniseries that is a mind trip. I was going to say it was a mind F word, but it's a mind trip, because with each episode you're there what are they going to introduce next? And a lot of people that I know personally didn't want to watch it after the first episode, but it's trying to persuade people to get past that first episode, because Moon Knight is a solid character and I like the series. It's a little bit different, a little bit quirky, but then again, Marvel, they can't just do the same old, and that's what I watched on Disney Plus. Over on Discovery Plus, the only show I have really watched on this streaming service this month is the brand new series of Ghost Adventures, as well as going back and binging older episodes. I like Ghost Adventures. It is a guilty pleasure show. Yes, there are some episodes which are very questionable, but then you get the odd episode where you go oh, what's going to happen to Zack and the crew? Is Ghost Adventures enough for me to keep this subscription? Who knows? All I am waiting for is a bunch of new shows to drop, be it other paranormal shows Help My House is Haunted, or Discovery Plus are really good at their crime documentaries, and I am a sucker for a good real true crime documentary, so get on it, Discovery Plus, because you've got to hold my interest. But Ghost Adventures, it is a 50-50 show for most people, but I like it. Probably my streaming service that I have watched the most shows on this month is Netflix, and they hit it out of the park again. The 2 non-Korean shows I watched are actually rewatches, because I have watched these shows when they were released and I've watched them multiple times. I'm talking about all 4 seasons of The Crown, because I cannot wait for season 5 to come out. I think I've watched this series through about 4 or 5 times, so I'll know the scripts off by heart. And the second series is 2 seasons of The Umbrella Academy, and that's in the lead up to the 3rd season, because I feel that is one of the shows that, because of the concept and where it was birthed from a graphic novel, and all the family and the powers, you can't just go into a new series when it eventually drops. You've got to go back and watch the older episodes. And it was actually my dad who I saw rewatching, and I was like, maybe I should rewatch Umbrella Academy. I still cannot get anyone else in my family to watch The Crown, so if any of you like The Crown, comment down below, because I love The Crown. Now on to Korean content, which is where I believe Netflix shines. I am continuing to watch like the variety show Men on a Mission, because ever since it dropped last month I have been binging, trying to like catch up. I'm not even on like the 2022 episodes yet. I think I am still on like 2020, because there are a lot of episodes to digest, and it really interests me because with like watching more like Korean dramas on like Netflix, and like I was watching it because like the episodes that they had like idols on, but now when they get actors on and I'm like, wait a minute, I've seen you in this K-drama, it is really interesting. The dynamics between the seven, I love like the high school, pretending they're in high school concept. It is funny, it is crude. It is a good, it's, if I was Korean and I was famous, I would want to go on Men on a Mission, because it just seems like a jolly good time. On to K-dramas. The one that was like highly recommended, that like Netflix really was pushing on me, is a series called Tomorrow. Now this is about Grim Reapers and a poor lad who, you know, is in a coma and kind of like thrust into the mix because there is different ranks of like Grim Reapers. They do different things, there's a little bit of competition, there's like, oh, you're not really sure, good guys, bad guys. It is like a supernatural concept that I love. I am like a sucker for anything like Grim Reaper, anything like after death, and like with most K-dramas, not just on Netflix but outside of Netflix, the budget is amazing, the cast is stellar, and you know, I'm watching each episode as it comes, and yeah, if you want like a fantasy, dark take on death, check out Tomorrow. And the final like K-show that I got around to watching, this has been in my watch list for ages, and when I was off work for like a week for my birthday, I just went on my watch list and I pressed play on like a random drama, and it is Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha, or Cha-Cha-Cha. And this is definitely comparing it to Tomorrow as a stark opposite. The premise is that you get like a dentist, she's at a crossroads in her life, and so she moves to a seaside town where she meets a handyman who just wants to help everyone. There are really like cute moments, there are like emotional moments, there are like moments where you can't help but laugh. This is like a really sweet drama, and I was really taken aback at like how invested I became in like the characters, like the little town it was set in. If you want a little bit of sweet in your K-dramas, then Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha, or Cha-Cha-Cha. Those are all the TV shows that I watched and recommend for you guys. In the comments, if you have any recommendations, then, well, you know, feel free, let's start a conversation. I only saw one film this month, and you know, I've got the title written down because it's a pretty long title. It was The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, featuring Nicolas Cage, playing Nicolas Cage, living up to like his like meme lord status. There are so many memes of Nick Cage, and is partnered perfectly with like Superfan, played by Pedro Pascal, who may or may not be like a kidnapper, drug cartel, but he's just such a lovable character that like, these two on screen together, these two actors were magnetic, and between me, my mum and my dad, we managed to get about 90% of like the film references. I was waiting for like the infamous bees. We all know the meme with the cage, not the bees, and we got that reference and I was like, yes. Also some reference to like National Treasure and like Mandy, and I was like, Nick Cage has done a lot of films over the years, and this was just enjoyable. If you want to lose yourself and you know, you just want to go see a film that you know has dramatic moments, is also like laughing, but like kind of like a bit of like a dark take on like how actors are in Hollywood, especially when they're not getting as many roles as they would like. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, it might not make like billions and millions, but if you're a Nick Cage fan, Pedro Pascal is equally amazing. Check out this film. The final category I'm going to talk about is video games. And as I mentioned in like my March favourites, there was a game that, you know, I bought but I didn't play because March was so packed full of games. But I finally got around to playing Rune Factory 5, which I promised you guys I would. Now, I have played Rune Factory games in the past, and how I best describe it to people who might not know, it is like a farming sim like Harvest Moon Story of Seasons, with like a little bit of like Monster Hunter elements, because you have to like hunt monsters from like keep them from like attacking like the village, but then they can also help on your farm. So it's like a farming sim, but then, you know, like throw in some action. Rune Factory are definitely like their own beast when it comes to being like their own subgenre of like farming sim. You can go into it casually, and I spent a lot of hours like leveling up my friendships with like the people in town, because like with any good farming sim, be it Story of Seasons, Stardew Valley, Rune Factory, Harvest Moon, even though they are Story of Seasons, there's always going to be one character that you want to marry. Yeah, if you like farming sims and you like a little bit of Monster Hunter action, then check out Rune Factory 5. And the final game that, you know, I replayed, or I've started replaying, is Octopath Traveler. Now, this game came out, if I can look at my notes, back in 2018. And this is actually like the first game in like the HD 2D series, and it was like the predecessor to like the equally awfully named Triangle Strategy. And after completing Triangle Strategy, and I was like, that game was a mind trip, I was like, I haven't played Octopath Traveler probably since it came out, and I put over 100 hours into that game. So I'm gonna go back, and Octopath Traveler still holds up, especially against Triangle Strategy in terms of like JRPGs. I would definitely say that Octopath is a lot more grindy than Triangle Strategy was, but for me the characters actually come alive more in Octopath Traveler than, you know, Triangle Strategy. Some people said that like the voice acting in Triangle Strategy was a little bit wooden. It was a little bit wooden, but then you go back to Octopath Traveler and you go, oh my god, all these characters you can fall in love with. I highly recommend, if you've played Triangle Strategy and you want another game that's like the similar like style and like design, then check out Octopath Traveler. I am really hyped for Live Alive or Live a Live, depending, lots of people say it differently, and that's HD 2D, and so I'm playing Octopath Traveler in the build up to that. And that just ends my, well, April favourites video. In the comments below, I'd love to know some of the things that you guys loved, or maybe you didn't love the month of April. Comments is the place to go. Let's start a conversation. I'm sorry, my throat got a little dry. I've got a drink off to the side, and I will drink it once I've finished filming. Yeah, I think that's all I've got to say. Let's just wrap up this video before I continue to ramble. If you'd like to support me and the channel in the future, you can by clicking like to show me some love. You can click subscribe and tap that bell to be notified when I upload on this channel. At the end of this video, you can check out my last 2 videos or playlist, depending on what mood I'm in when I'm editing this. I am Beth. Until next time, goodbye.